Tech Talks, chopping it up with Chuck, and I've got Josh and Andrea here from the Cannabis Science Conference. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Hi.
Let's talk about science and cannabis and events.
Absolutely, yeah.
So tell us what's going on. You've got an event coming up the fall?
Yes, so our next conference will be the 2019 Cannabis Science Conference West, because now we're doing West Coast, fall, East Coast, spring. And that show will be in Portland, Oregon, September 4th through 6th.
Yeah.
That's our fourth Portland show and our fifth show in general. So we're really looking forward to that. We're expecting to have over 4,000 people, over 200 vendors, all like from the walks of science, medicine, cultivation, technology, and ancillary businesses. So it's been really crazy kind of to see the explosion and growth in science since we kind of came in 2016. And like people really hungry for it. The first show we, sold out the hotel. It was over 800 people. We knew at that one, like, okay, we're going to keep doing this. We need to move to a convention center. Right. So it's just been a great journey. Is that the mark of having made it when an event is in a convention center? Is that like the bar? I think it's definitely a different level. Yeah. Yeah. And I remember it was a great hotel and like one of the largest, hotel venues you can do. But like I said, we had over 800 people, 75 vendors packed into this place. And the hotel itself was like, we love you guys. We'd love to keep taking your money. But if you're planning to grow this at all, like, you gotta go somewhere else. Wow. So we've been at the Oregon Convention Center 2017, 18, and now 19. And then we were really excited for the Baltimore show because we just launched our first Baltimore show in April of this year. And that one we right out the gate, we're at the convention center, so in Baltimore. And we had about, it was successful. Yeah, I mean, we had about 2,200 folks. Kudos. Yeah. You guys doubled your events and you expanded to the other coast. And didn't you say you had what, like 150? Yeah, so we had about 120 exhibitors for the Baltimore show. Okay. And about 2,200 people. So it was great because we, Andrea and I both live in Baltimore. Okay. So for us, when we launched this, there were not really markets on the East Coast, you know what I mean? And we really just knew at that point we had to go out west, and we picked Portland as our home. But it was really, for me, I kept saying a full circle experience to be down the street from my house.
Yeah, you're bringing it home. Exactly. Yeah. Hey everybody, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here, but we just wanted to remind you that this episode of Cannabis and Tech Talks is brought to you by Creative Packaging. When you're looking for innovative, sustainable solutions for packaging, make sure you check out Creative Packaging. So, I mean, why science? Why did you guys pick that to be what you wanted to build? Because there's shows, that deal with cultivation, and there's shows for retail, and there's shows for, why'd you pick science?
So my background before I was doing this, the most recent thing I was doing before this was in the staffing and recruiting industry for analytical science. So environmental labs, food safety, instrument providers. And I was heavily involved in that for a few years and ran a company doing that. And, I've been a fan of cannabis myself for ever, but it was at a point where, I lived in Maryland. So all this California business and Colorado is on the other side of the world. Yeah, might as well be. So it just.
But were you a fan of science growing up? Are you one of those kids?
Absolutely.
I was into space. I seriously wanted to be an astronaut. Yeah. I was all about I just love science. It's cool. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's cool and what is this saying? Science. Let's science the shit out of it.
Yeah. Science the shit out of cannabis. Yeah.
Well, and for me, one of the biggest things is in my journey and doing what I was doing with that, I was very tuned into quality control, environmental, like I said, all those things, and I started to get more and more interested in cannabis, and I was thinking about segueing, but I wanted to take the time to be what do I want to do? How do I apply what I'm doing now to cannabis? You know what I mean? And that's really my best advice for anyone. People are always what was the one thing you would say? It's don't try to fit in a cannabis box that you think is this industry or what they need you to be. Do what you're good at now. Yeah. Because I guarantee you, at some level of what you're already good at and doing, there's a space and need for it in the cannabis industry. So for me, I saw that at the time, the quality control portion of testing was all over the place. And California didn't require it, other markets didn't require it. And it was just alarming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, and I also saw like at the time, which even was surprising to me as a, very liberal person,
Sure.
that like children are using, you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
babies, like 8-month-old children that have
Right.
cancer. So I'm like, cannabis inherently in itself is safe, but when you have things to take in mind like contamination issues and potency labeling, it can be, it can be very harmful if you have contaminated like mold or things like that. So obviously, if you're
got
giving,
people cutting corners,
right? And
Right.
Cannabis is a medicine that we're more times than not giving it to extremely immunocompromised individuals.
Yeah.
And a little pesticide or mold or whatever might not really mess up someone that's like average healthy person. But if your immune system is compromised, especially from things like chemo, radiation, other things, so we really like. Almost for me, like I said, it was alarming. So I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
There's like not required testing for a medical thing. I mean, just to like put it into like context, like we have testing and testing standards for wastewater.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if we're like
Everything.
testing wastewater and
Right?
that, like, why are
Everything
we
has
testing
some
this
kind of
medicine?
standards, some kind of
Absolutely.
regulations,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
But cannabis is first and foremost a medicine.
Yeah.
And so that's where the science becomes important. We need to
Sure.
understand what we're doing, and testing is extremely important.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because like I said, I just wanted to contribute and help to that and like use the expertise that and the connections that I had and, the great companies that some of them were starting to work in and some of them weren't, bringing them in. It was just even surprising to us how successful and like how fast things grew. Like, the first show, we actually were in 3 different venues before that first show with the 800. And like originally I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do a show with like 10 exhibitors and maybe like 100 or 2 people. You know what I mean? Like, and then it's like that filled up within like a month. You know what I mean? So then we're like, okay, our event's like 8-9 months away. Like, do we plateau that far, or do we like find another venue and freaking make it bigger? So we did that, and we've just kind of, been holding on tight and like growing.
So you must have a massive staff, right, to handle all this. It's
oh yeah.
What do you got?
It's
How many
really,
people you
really
got?
big staff.
That was a setup.
Yeah. I think the answer.
That's a softball right down the middle, baby.
So really, day to day, it's Andrea and I.
Yeah.
And
Blows
we
me away
we have
how
some
much
other.
you guys can get done. And by the way, I've found other events in too. They have pretty small staffs. When you start talking to them, like you guys are just able to get a lot of shit done.
Well, and so, thank you. We appreciate that. But like sometimes I feel when you have like too many people, there's like all the chefs,
Yes.
Too
many chefs in the kitchen.
Right.
Or like just one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing.
Or someone's like, "Oh, that's not my resposability."
Right.
Like I
But
know,
there's only
like
2 of you. You can't.
right.
do
If something
that.
happens, is like, and I didn't do it, I'm like, you did it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
And
It's on
vice
you.
versa.
And vice
Yeah.
versa. Yeah. And then we also have Leah Heiss, who is an owner of the company as well, and she is an awesome like regulatory expert. She's with a great company called Forefront, so she's our strategic and legal advisor. So it's always good to have at least one lawyer around here.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like we like the lawyers. And then we have a couple other like scientifically involved people, and then we have like scientific committees and stuff like that to help with some of the content and selection. But yeah, it's us.
So, what would you like to leave with our audience to let them know? Like, can you give them a little, maybe like a little sneak peek into something that they can look forward to at your event? Like, do we know who's going to be the speaker?
Absolutely. So yeah, we're working on some closings. So we have a couple that we're not announcing yet, but are in the pipeline. But we do have some really great individuals coming. We have this great doctor out of UCLA named Dr. Jewett, who's doing amazing natural killer cell research. She's been doing this for the past, I believe 15 to 20 years, and she's now incorporating cannabis into that, and she's working very closely with Tracy Ryan of Canna Kids, who I'm also on her board, so shout out to her. They're in California. It's going to be a lot of great people. We always do the analytical science track, which focuses on testing, extraction, regulation, research. The medical cannabis track, that is, routes of administration, different topics like cannabis for cancer, epilepsy, geriatrics, pediatrics, and then our cultivation science track, which we actually launched that for the first time at our 2018 Portland show. And then we had that again in Baltimore, and we'll be doing it in Portland. And that's been a really great track. Like, people really enjoy that. We work with Dr. Jacqueline Green and Dr. Roger Kern and our friend Autumn Carsey, who are really experts in cultivation, to help us kind of curate the content for that. And Dr. Green and Dr. Kern are really interesting because they spent over 30 years with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and now they're like cannabis people, and they so basically
high speed,
right?
Yeah.
And like all the research that they did when they were with JPL, or most of it, was centered around growing agriculture in space, and specifically on Mars.
Wow.
So it's like they spoke at the Portland show, and then I think one of the headlines was like space weed.
So cool.
And then the other one was like Cannabis Science Conference envisions weed on Mars. I'm like, yeah, we do.
Anything with space is cool. Anything with space is cool. Cannabis in space.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you know, we do always have at least one or two really awesome like celebrities. Like I said, we're working on a couple right now that I don't want to get things signed and then mention it. But you know, in Baltimore we have Ricky Lake and Montel Williams, who are both great advocates in the industry, but also Baltimore connected people.
Yeah.
Last year we have Fran Drescher.
Okay.
Mr. Sheffield.
Yes.
Fran Drescher. And it's funny because everyone's like, does she really talk like that? I'm like, oh yeah. And she was great. And you know, we're talking with some really, really awesome folks for the Portland show. But yeah, if they want to check out more information, we'll actually
where
be releasing.
Where can they find out?
CannabisScienceConference.com, you know, Facebook, Instagram,
still
Twitter,
looking for, is there still opportunities for exhibitors, sponsors,
yeah,
things
absolutely.
like that?
Yeah, we
although our call for abstracts has closed.
yeah,
Okay.
so
we're
we're building the agenda right now, like
Okay.
going through. We had like 370 submissions.
Wow.
So yeah, like we're going through almost
Yeah.
400 submissions, but it's great.
Good
And
thing
it's
you
like a
got that
good
big
problem to
staff
have,
to
like you
go
have,
through all
right? All
this.
that, yeah. But it's a good
But,
problem
yeah.
to have because it's also great, and it's almost like you feel like, oh my god, I can't even fit all this in here, but I want to. But it's great because you can like kind of, if it doesn't fit exactly that one, you can like bank that abstract and say, hey, not for this one, we have you for next time. But yeah, we'd love for everybody to join us. You know, we're working with you guys as
We're
a
going to
media
be
partner.
there. We're going to rock and
you
roll.
guys are going to be there. Yep.
We feel like this is going to be one of our, favorite events, and we've all got our, like people say with your kids, you don't have favorites. That's bull.
Yeah.
You've got a favorite kid, right?
That's going to be us.
And
Yeah,
right. But no, I think this is going to be really awesome. It's a great time with Cannabis and Tech today, and we're really looking forward to being there, helping to promote the event, and we'll be on site. We'll rock and roll. We'll do some interviews and stuff. We'll get some coverage in the magazine. And we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're excited to be working with you guys, and we will see everybody in Portland.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for stopping by, guys.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Cannabis and Tech Talks. If you like this podcast, make sure that you subscribe and share with your friends. And don't forget to follow us on social media so you can stay in the conversation. And visit our website, cannatechtoday.com.